So hello everyone, in this video we'll be integrating our Passport Google OAuth2 package and the main process here. So for that I have this passport.js.org and we are already installed all these packages. We don't need to do anything. You just need to go to this Passport Google Passport. You can search for that Passport Google OAuth2. I have already implemented, or I have already opened that page. You can see that this will be the page. You can go to that page with the help of, let's say, Google OAuth2. So we have this Google OAuth2 page. If you click on that, so it'll open this page. And in that page you will find every information which you want. Also, Passport.js is very good for implementing other authentication features as well. Like for example, Passport Facebook to implement Facebook login process if you want that in your application. So we'll not be going in that way. Just we need to implement this Google OAuth 2.0 authentication. So you can see that it is saying you can install this Passport Google OAuth 2, which we have already done. And now it is saying you just need to do this kind of process. So you can simply copy this code here, or you can manually write if you want, and you can just paste it at the top, or you can create a separate file if you want it to be clear from the other code. So I can create auth.js file, and inside that I can paste it. And we need to do some of the things here. Let me just paste it one more time. Yeah. Now we need to do some of the things here because passport is not initialized. So we can first of all import passport here. So passport is nothing but the passport package or the library which we have installed. We can just require it by saying require passport, and now we can also make it constant variable because we'll not be using it twice. And then Google strategy, this variable will not be reinitializing it, so we can make it constant. And now you can see this is how it is creating this Google strategy. And now we are using it in passport.use kind of middleware, and in which we are just creating a new Google strategy in which we are passing our client ID, which is Google client ID, which we'll be getting from our Google developer account, and we are also getting client secret. So basically we don't have these two variables. Also the callback URL which we need to create, and also after that there is a callback function which is here, in which we'll be getting all the information such as the request we send, access token, refresh token, and the profile and the done function. Basically we don't want all these things like in which is available here, because it is actually creating the user and finding and creating the user from the backend database and updating the refresh token or setting up the Google ID to its profile ID. So basically we don't want that because we don't have any database here. You can do this if you want, but we'll not be doing that. We are just returning the done function and the profile data. So we can just return this kind of information only. Also for implementing this Google client and Google client secret, we just need to first of all create an environment variable, because we cannot store secret information or API key information or client secret kind of information in a normal page, because that can be visible to other users if we upload this application into GitHub. So if we deploy it in GitHub, so that will be a problem if somebody sees this Google client ID and Google client secret. So we always create that information, or we separate that information from a normal JavaScript page or normal other pages. So we always set up environment variables for that. So I'll be creating these two variables, and for the data I'll be going into the developer account. So first let's initialize it, and after that we have Google client secret. We can copy that, right? And to use environment variables, we have already installed the package which is .env, so we can require that package here, which is .env, and we can call the method which is config. And now we can use process.env here. Similar for this process.env, uh, process.env. Now for the localhost, or like for the callback URL, like it will be the URL after, like which it will redirect to after getting the information from the Google, which page or which route will be the main callback URL. So it will send the information to this route, or it will be calling this route after making the request from the Google sign, like authorization or authentication. After making the authentication, we can set up a local host 3000, not 3000, it is 5000, and we can set up this callback URL in our like index.js file. First, let's get this Google client ID and Google client secret. So first, let me just go to the browser, and you can get that very easily. You just need to go to the Google console or Google developer console and create Google OAuth ID. So for that, I'll be just searching for Google credential, OAuth credential, or you can just search for OAuth credentials. Now the page will be, let's write Google credentials here simply. I can see it is telling me console.cloud.google.com. This is our like main developer console, in which if you have already logged in, so it will show you the logged in screen and the credentials page, where you can set up and create OAuth API key, OAuth client ID and client secret for a particular project you have. So basically it will load. Let me refresh it. Let me clear it. You can see that we have this OAuth 2.0 client ID and client secret. Uh, I can also create one more credential here. So I have already created previous credentials for like demo purposes. I can delete them like anyhow if I want. But let's just create one more credential by using create credential here. And if I click on OAuth client ID, it will jump to the next page where it will ask for some information that we can provide. Now in here we can tell him what is the type of application we are using. We're creating it for the web application, so you can name it anything you want. Let's let it be web client 3, and we can also set up a redirection URI which we have already set up here. So I can copy paste the same thing. So it will be the callback URL, so in which our callback will be presented after making the request from the Google. So I can create it now. So if I create this page or create this OAuth client ID, it will give me my client ID and client secret that I can store in my environment variables. So basically it will be for that. Now you can see OAuth client created. Now I can copy both these information and store it in my environment variable. So this is very important step. You just have to remember it. So don't worry about it. I'm showing you in the video, but I'll be deleting it after making this video. So this is it. We just needed that information from the Google. Now what we actually need is we can press OK here and we can just save this file. So now we can also serialize the user by using passport.serialize user, and it will be a function in which we'll be getting our user and also the method which is done, and I can simply call the done method, and initially the error will be null and the user will be the user. So this we are doing for Passport.js to like serialize the user, and similarly we can use deserialize if it is needed. Similarly the same thing will go for them, and I can call the done function again or done method again, comma, and this user. So the auth page is completed. Now we need a callback function. We need to create a callback API or endpoint, which we have provided here. You can see that auth Google callback. Also we can require this auth.js page here in this application. I can call it require dot backslash the page name auth.js. So auth, you can just simply write auth. It will automatically add JS there. And if you go to the Passport Google Auth screen, in the next step, it is telling you that you just need to first set up this auth Google route, which will be the route when we click on this link. And after that, this passport authenticate will be called, and this will actually authenticate it from this like this page which we created just now. And after that it will send the response to this callback URL, which is this auth Google callback, in which we can actually uh, get the idea that whether we are authenticated successfully or not. So if you are successfully like authenticated, so we can redirect the user to some page, and if you are not successfully redirected, so we can simply send them to a failure page. So we can copy this route here or this middleware or like express routes here, and I can paste them in here. Make sure the naming which you are having here auth slash Google matches with the index.js href route. So make sure you're matching it. And in that we are simply authenticating with Google. This is necessary. You just have to remember it. And after that we are simply uh, limiting the scope to email and profile. So only these kind of information we'll be getting, not every information from the Google account after the login. We will be just getting the user's email and the profile. And then after that we are just going into this Google callback endpoint. In this endpoint we are just checking we are authenticated successfully or not. If we are authenticated, so we are redirecting to this route, which is Google success, which we haven't created yet. And we can also create a Google failure route. So for both of these routes, we can simply use app.get here. This was the like route which you want the user to be shown. Let's say I have this protected route, so that I've shown you. I have this auth protected, and after that I can simply get the request and response, right? And simply I can uh, send some data, let's say hello there, right? So this will be the like protected route which will be passed after the successful login. So that we are creating here. And simply if I save this complete information, and also we just need to set up some session tokens as well. Now you can see it is saying me passport is not defined, so we can set up that as well. So I can set up passport again, passport. I can require passport here. Simply. So this is it. And also one last thing we need to do is we just need to store all these information in a session token. So for that, I'll be using the Express session package, which is a session management tool by Express. So we can simply use Express session and create the tokens or create the cookies, you can say simply. So for that, I'll be just creating it with the help of app.use first. You can use it, app.use, and inside that you will see that how you can implement it with this Express session npm page. You can see it is using by app.use, and then after that it is setting everything here. I can set up that here. Make sure you make it to false, because if it is set to true, then it means it will only create the session cookies whenever the like website is running on HTTPS, not HTTP. So you can change that. Also, this secret you can store it in an environment variable. For now, I'll be just using my secret or anything you want, so you can use it. Similarly, we can initialize passport initialize in one of the app.use middleware. And after that, we can simply create one more middleware function that will also check whether the user is logged in or not. So I can create is logged in function that will be a middleware basically, and that will redirect us or send the response to 401 if we don't have request.user. So if we don't have request.user, then if we have this, so we can make next API endpoint, or next we can transfer the information to the next endpoint or to a next middleware. Otherwise, we can send the information that you're not logged in or you are unauthorized. So we can do that with the help of status 401. So 401 stands for unauthorization. So we can call this is logged in here in this protected as a middleware. Similarly, we can also create Google failure route as well. So I can copy this page or this route, and I can copy this thing here, and I don't need this one here. I can send something went wrong. So I can send any kind of HTML pages as well in these like routes. I'm not sending any page here because I don't want to create separate pages for separate thing, and also I cannot pass the data in these HTML files. If you are using EJS, so we can do that. So feel free to use any UI library or any UI package you want. So this is it, and after that we can also get the data here. Session is not defined. We can also set the session. I haven't called that, so some of the thing I need to use session equal require express session. You can call it. Now I should not give any error. Okay, one more thing. Yeah, in here I was getting the name from the request dot user dot display name. So this will be the data from the like callback from the Google. So I can get the data, and I can uh, say, let's say hello, and I can present that in here. If I save it, if I save it, that should make the things clear. And I think our application is almost completed. So now I can check that application. If I refresh the page, now if I go to the protected route, so it should log something called unauthorized. Here you can see that. Now if I log in with Google, it should present me the login screen. Now you can see it is presenting the login screen. If I click on that first Google account which I have, then you can see it is redirecting me to auth protected. Okay, so now it is still okay, something I'm missing. Let me just check it one more time. So basically there'll be one more thing here. So I'm not setting it into the session, that's why the session is not set properly. So I can use passport.session to set the token or the information from the passport.js to our session cookie. So these three steps are very necessary. You have to remember this. Now if I save this file, that should work now. I can save it one more time. I can go to the main page, which is 5000. Let's go to the 5000 page, right? Let's log in one more time. You can see that it is showing me this page. Let me just go with the first Gmail account I have. Let me just close the console now. You can see that it is setting the data here, and we are getting the cookies set in the storage as well. So this is how you can set that. And similarly, I can create a logout route, or I can simply delete it from my side as well. So these three steps are very important. You just have to remember it to set the cookies properly. And now I can create a logout route as well by using app.use slash auth, let's say logout. To remove the token or session token, I can use rec res. I can first of all like destroy the token, request dot session dot destroy. I can simply destroy it with the help of this destroy command. And also I can send some response, let's say see you again, or I can redirect the user to the home page as well if I want. So I can use res.redirect to redirecting to some page. So basically this was it. And now if I refresh the page, it is lost. Now if I log in again, now we have this. And if I press logout here, so you can see it is saying see you again, which means it has deleted my session token successfully. Now you can see we are seeing unauthorized here. So similarly, you can delete any session token with the help of this session.destroy command. So this was it, and this was our complete application in which we implemented our OAuth client with the help of Passport.js. If you have some issues or like some problem, you can comment down, and I will be definitely solving that. And the code will be available in my GitHub repository. You can check out that. So thank you for watching. Let's meet in the next video.